Today I talk about preventing tilt, climbing rank on a time budget, and soothing your star player. Hello and welcome to Mind Games TV, episode 64. I have a fun session today, and I'm streaming it first of all from the back side, so I'm live streaming it here on Periscope. So, see, hi Periscope. So if you want to catch the behind the scenes, like follow me on Twitter, and you can check out behind the scenes. And today, I was actually able to kind of show the guys and gals, I assume, the workbook that we're going to be kicking off today with TSM. And kind of showing them like what I see as the fundamentals for mental performance.
Quake asks, how do I prevent myself from going on tilt and getting frustrated?
So this is the $1 million question, of course. Preventing yourself from going on tilt, I personally don't think that's possible. I mean, I think that like everybody's going to have a bad day at some point. Like you can make yourself really mentally robust, but then internally you're going to get frustrated, you're going to go on tilt, but I don't think that those are bad things. I think it's bad when it affects your performance. So if you're tilting internally and your performance is fine, then are you really tilting? I mean, we've seen examples of this in elite sport where Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant were like severely on emotional tilt, but it didn't impact their performance that much. And it really comes down to like just having the mental resilience to say, like, I don't care if I feel bad, I'm going to do what's necessary. And a lot of people get that when they're playing on stage. Like, they're like, I don't care that my teammate didn't follow my orders or whatever. I'm super adrenaline pumped and I want to win anyway, so I'll just like ignore that insult and I'll keep going forward. But then in the training environment, it gets iffy because like you don't have enough oomph chemically in your body to just overcome all of those little pinpricks that you get from teammates or from opponents, and it just kind of puts you mechanically on tilt. So I think that like ramping up the importance of what you're doing in terms of the values that you want to live out in your play is probably the best way to change from being emotionally driven to being values driven. I should put up a worksheet for that. If there's a worksheet in the future, I'll come back and I'll put it right here.
Thomas asks, can I still improve or climb in league when I'm limited by my circumstances as to how much I can play?
Yeah, this is a tough one because it depends on your definition of improve and climb. I think that if you want to climb to a certain level, like we're talking diamond, challenger, masters tier, that represents a very small percentage of the population. And in order to achieve mastery like that, you need volume in your reflex training. So you have to get pretty good at your decision making, typically by beating it into your body through volume. But that doesn't mean you can train inefficiently. You can actually just make sure that every single ounce of time you spend on the game is effective by kind of doing a lot of tear down afterwards of like kind of what went wrong and what you should have done. And I want you to do two really powerful things mentally. Number one, try to predict what's going to happen. Predictions and then seeing if those pan out or not are really a really powerful way to kind of like coach your brain into strategic development. And the second thing I want you to do is after you go back and you look at stuff, I don't want you to say, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do this. I want you to ask questions. What if I did this? What if I did this? What if I did this? Because that opens you up and opens the brain up for a lot of I want to say like active learning and growth versus like kind of just stagnation in trying to prevent scenarios and situations. Okay. Good question. Thanks. And by the way, you should check out my podcast with, I think it was, Alish Krajnik Freeze from Copenhagen Wolves, now of LA Renegades. I did a podcast with him where he talks about how he was able to train up to a high level with very limited playtime. And I think it was mostly just like through kind of one of the principles I was talking about, preparation beforehand, and then deep focus when he was actually training. And then the other thing you can do, by the way, let me go back to this question from Thomas, is you can actually tackle the mental skills you need in the game outside the game, so you can do everything else better. You can be more fit. You can look like when you're watching esports for fun, you can be strategizing instead. You can be analyzing and thinking like, why are they making these decisions? You can, have better nutrition. You can do all sorts of different stuff outside of the game to kind of like make that 10, 20, 30 minutes in the game like more powerful.
Travis asks, how can I stop my star player's temper from flaring up as an in-game leader?
So this is a CS:GO related question, and it's basically, how do you captain your star player? How do you keep your star player's temper from flaring up? Okay, so first of all, normalize it. So talk to the guy or girl and say, listen, one of the reasons you are a star player is because of the emotional power. So the investment that you make into the game, the fact that you pour yourself into it so much that you are able to focus harder, train harder, be better than other people. So that is number one, that this reaction is not bad per se, but it's limiting. Okay, it's limiting the person's ability to perform consistently when things are good or bad. So basically, you want to help them next level it. And I would recommend a simple framework that was kind of like proposed to me by Peter Young. I'll try to find his Twitter and link him up on Twitter, but I don't think that he has a Twitter. So this might be empty right here, but I'll check. And it's basically to sear him. So support or empower or give him accountability or give him respect. So when people act out emotionally, a lot of times they're looking for something. They either want to feel connectedness, or they want to feel pleasure, they want to feel reward, or they want to feel like they matter, or they want to feel like apologized to. They want something from the world, from themselves, from life, from the game, and they're like emotionally kind of having a reaction to that desire. So if you can give them that, if you can give them support, if you can give them empowerment, if you can give them accountability, if you can give them respect, or whatever it is that they seek, a lot of times it can like help them push through it. But the other thing you can do more long term than just like in the moment trying to fix it is you can basically point out when they set aside their emotions in order to do something that's hard, that you know that they are pissed at. So find those moments when they actually do that and praise them, point them out and say, look, at this point you acted in service of like higher values, of desires that you wanted to accomplish, instead of like reacting to your emotions. You were able to ignore your emotions and do it anyway. That's the skill you want to promote in them. And so, those are my suggestions, and I hope that you are able to help him be a good captain. You can also point him to this YouTube channel, Mind Games TV, and you can. So the YouTube channel is actually Mind Games Consulting, but whatever, or mindgames.gg/TV, and you can point him to our forums too if you want him to seek help and seek mastery by himself. And I want to end on a quote today. Do you know what my favorite part of the game is? The opportunity to play by Mike Singletary. Something. Mike S. All right, I'll see you next time, and follow me on Snapchat. Mind Games Weldon. I would show you my Snapchat like I normally do, except that right now I'm periscoping, so I can't. Sorry.